Welcome to our webinar today, Drive Partner Collaboration and Productivity with an Extranet on Office 365. See how you can provide groups like board of directors or committees, or community groups that you deal with, distributors, suppliers, volunteers, and other types of external business partners that you may work with, and how to provide them with a portal to make them more productive and improve relationships as well as collaboration with those partners. My name is Daryl Trimble. I'm CEO of SP Marketplace. We are the leader in Office 365 business solutions and portals. We started in 2012 in Northern California, and our whole objective was to leverage the Office 365 platform to transform the way business is done by small to medium organizations. Today, we're a multi-level Microsoft partner. We have over 1,000 installations of our solutions worldwide, and we are the only integrated business suite available for Office 365. So today, the agenda is, first of all, what are external partners and why are they important to many organizations? Then we'll talk a little bit about the challenge of collaboration and supporting those partners to make them as effective as possible and provide the services that you need for your organization through that partnership. We're going to introduce the concept of an extranet portal and what that means, what that provides, and why it is a benefit to both your partner and your organization. Then we're going to talk a little bit about why Office 365 as a platform is uniquely suited to deploy an extranet on. Then we'll talk a little bit about how you might go about bringing an extranet into your organization for your partners and whether you should buy or build that on Office 365. We'll then introduce an example of one extranet, and that is SP Extranet from our company, which is an out-of-the-box solution that can provide an extranet for your partners in a short time frame at a very cost-effective approach. And we'll give a short demonstration of that product. So first, let's talk about external partners and groups for many organizations. So your organization probably has a number of different external partners that interact with it, and you rely on them. First of all, your leadership groups. If you're a corporation or a nonprofit or a government or something like that, you probably have a city council or a board of directors that is running your organization. Business partners might be partners that sell your services to different regions and markets. So just distributors, they could be suppliers of services to you as well. Also, you may have extended workforce partners. Those might be contractors, might be volunteers, might be members if you're an association or something like that. So what we see is there are a large number of different partners that all organizations interact with and rely upon to help build their business and run their business as well. So let's take a look at a couple examples. For nonprofits, for example, you're going to have boards and committees typically. You'll typically may have other nonprofit organizations as partners. You may have vendors that you rely on or suppliers as well. And then over on the extended workforce side, you may have volunteers or members or even, again, contractors that you may work with. If we take a look at local governments, the city and counties, again, they have a number of leadership groups, including city councils or committees. They also interact with a number of partners. It could be businesses in their locale, it could be different government agencies, or again, suppliers or vendors. And then finally, extended workforce. Again, they may have contractors that they deal with to provide services, or volunteers that may be working such things as recreation and parks and so on. So every organization relies on external partners as part of their strategy. And the key thing is, many times these external partners are core to the success of the organization. From the leadership partners for direction, expertise, feedback from those groups. So you want to make them effective and make sure that they're successful. Business partners can be core, especially if your commercial distribution may rely on them to actually sell your products to provide revenue. You may rely on them to provide services that are complementary to your products or your services. Or you may just have a marketing relationship with them to provide visibility to the market as well. And then, of course, extended workforce. This is core to your success. Often, this is how you actually add extra resources without having to hire them, or you may have certain expertise areas that you rely on partners. So, this is really wrapped around productivity and your operational bandwidth. So, making sure that your partners are a success is really core to your own success in many cases. But the challenge is, how can you make it easy for your partners to work with you? Because after all, they probably have other partners. In other words, you are a partner to them. And you want to make sure that you make it easy for them to work with you so that they are enticed to make sure that they do the things that you need to succeed. And a lot of times the partners need, information, news and events. They need to keep up to date on what's happening in your organization and what products you're bringing out and that type of things, and also events. They also might need to get documents such as contracts or policies, different media as well, or collateral, marketing collateral, and so on. They may need access to new programs that you're putting out or training type of curriculum and access to that. And as well, they need access to who to contact in the organization if they need help. And that's all part of the information that's core to that partnership. Now, the other thing that makes it effective is collaboration between the two organizations. So the ability to share tips, for instance, if it's distributors, to share experience, to share expertise as well. Same thing goes on even with volunteers and even with your committee groups. They also need to be able to schedule activities and meetings, as well as doing some interactions in news groups and discussions. And then finally, also share things like projects and schedules and tasks too. Those are all part of the core process of working with partners. And then finally, if they need help, where do they go? Make it easy for them to get help and assistance. Who do they call? Do they know that somebody's actually working on doing what they need? If it's a board, maybe they need to have a special meeting scheduled and a place to do that. If it's a distributor, maybe they need help with a sales deal out there. And they also need to be able to easily submit processes. Let's go back to the distributor again. Maybe they need to register an account as a process, or a volunteer needs to submit an expense or even a liability release form or something like that. The issue, though, is a lot of times all that information is spread across your organization in different departments. Also, it may be behind a firewall that they can't get through. And so part of the challenge of making it easy to work with you is dealing with how do we get that information out to our partners without breaking the security and letting them into the internal information they shouldn't be getting at. Well, that's one of the main reasons the number one partner communication method today is email. The problem with email is that, number one, there's a lot of it that goes out. It's hard to keep track of. When they need to reference a piece of information that they got 3 or 4 weeks ago today, they have to go looking through their email. But unfortunately, because of firewalls and everything else, this is the number one partner communication method today. And quite frankly, it's not real effective. So what we're really getting down to is in managing partners, the challenge is how do you give them access to what they need to get at while maintaining the security and the accessibility of things internally in your organization? How do you separate those? Well, up until now, that has been a problem. I mean, you couldn't give everybody network access outside your organization into it. With the advent, though, of the internet and Office 365, you have some new options. And this platform really allows you to break down the walls of the security and internal versus external by using Office 365 and SharePoint to implement an extranet portal structure. This allows your partners to access information over the intranet through an authenticated access to portals that are built specifically for them to provide the information, resources, and collaboration directly to them in a central point. That's the concept of an extranet. So why is it so good to do an extranet on Office 365? Well, because of the basic architecture of that cloud platform. It allows your partners to go and access it from wherever they are via the internet. And the nice thing about it, it's built out of the box on its platform so that they can get at it through any device, whether it be a tablet, whether it be a MacBook, whether it be a PC or a smartphone. It's got permissions and security set up so that you can actually have secure sharing of information without worrying about if they're going to get into the internal information in your organization. And it's already filled with seamless collaborative tools that allow you to do online meetings and group collaboration and share documents and share discussions and chat and everything else through tools like Skype and Yammer, which are part of Office 365. And out of the box, it's integrated with MS Office and email, and it provides great flexibility to grow. So it's really the perfect platform for really moving to that extranet portal structure. Now, Office 365 also includes SharePoint Online. This is where you're actually going to build the structure for your extranet. SharePoint is basically a web portal structure that allows you to store documents and data and so on in it. So with it, you can set up a site portal structure for your external partners. It allows you and does automatically external user management as part of Office 365. This was a big hurdle for many companies, and SMBs just couldn't afford to have that set up manually. It also has document management built in for sharing documents, process automation like workflows and other things so that you can do some of the business processes you need to do with your partners. It has governance and audit so that you can actually track who's getting at what, making sure that the security and the sharing is correct. It is no-code solution, so you can actually build these portals without having programmers as well. And it's very flexible, so you could actually deploy multiple partner models. You could have, one site template for your boards and committees, which are mostly meeting-driven and document-driven and collaboration. And you could have another one for distributors, which again are more collateral driven, but there's more interaction. And they also need to do things like submit accounts, submit orders, and other things as well. So it is really a great platform that makes it possible for small to medium businesses and organizations to actually offer an extranet to their partners. So then the question comes down to, do you buy or build your extranet? Now, it's possible to build it as well, and we'll take a look at how you can build a simple one using SharePoint. And it really comes down to how much money you want to spend, the time to delivery. Do you need it right away, or could you wait a year while it's being built? The quality of the solution. Is it based on best practices, or is it something that you're going to kind of build as you go and learn as you go? And do you have specific requirements that maybe a out-of-the-box solution can't fit? So these are really part of the buy or build. How are you going to deploy your extranet? So let's go into the build side of it first. The simplest way to deploy an extranet on SharePoint is to learn a little bit of SharePoint. It's not real hard. And to actually create a site collection. Okay, that's something that is kind of like your bucket or container in SharePoint. And then they have different types of sites, and one of them is called a team site. This is what we see here. So we see that there is a web page here, and in this web page, you can share this. This is how you actually share it with your partners. There's a document library, and there's other things in here, such as a news feed, and you could even add other things like announcements or contact lists and so on. So you can take this document library, you can add folders to it, you can add announcements in here, you can add a contacts list as well. And with that, you've got the basic components of your partner portal. If it's really just a resource sharing portal, this probably would be good enough. And you can put your logo up here in the home page. Now, the next step would be is to share it or add external users who can get at it and start sharing it. And then repeat this for each group, so each group can have their own site. So this is the simplest way to go about it. And if you have, if you're a smaller company and you want to you've got a resource that's going to learn some SharePoint, this would be a great way to go. And there's even step-by-step instructions on Microsoft sites on how to create a partner-facing extranet site in Office 365. So that's the simplest way to do it. It may not do everything that you need, but it would get you there. So a second level would be on the build side is hire some consultants to build a custom extranet. And that way you would get something that was very good looking, had many more functions and features in it as well, but it also could be very expensive. It's not unusual in some cases for these to run into over $100,000, depending on what you wanted to put into it. But you could have multiple levels and multiple sites for the different types of external partners you may deal with, boards and committees and volunteers or distributors or even a client portal as well. So the build side does leave you more options, but it also takes a lot longer and can cost a lot more. The other thing you need to think about when you're building an extranet is it really needs to be an integral part of your Office 365 ecosystem. Now what that is that's when you're running Office 365, you're running your email, your calendar, task people. It is, in essence, your front office set of functions and features that your people may be using. And this extranet could be an additional application. It needs to have the same look and feel. It needs to be able to, in essence, use some of these features and functions. So you may have an extranet here that you built, but it needs to be able to interact with Outlook. It needs to be able to interact with groups within Office 365. You might want to use it to even do dashboards as part of Power BI, or also keep track of projects or tasks as part of Planner as well. So you want to make sure that whatever you build, you follow the rules of Office 365 and Microsoft guidelines so that it can fit well with Office 365 now and in the future. So a second option here is you can buy. And one example of that is SP Extranet. This is our offering. It is a set of SharePoint application templates, okay, that are natively built on top of Office 365 and SharePoint. Just as you would take that team site and add a whole bunch of functionality and look and feel and everything, pretty much what your custom consultants might do, that's what we've done with this, but we've packaged it up and delivered it as a changeable template. So it's 100% customizable by business power users. It leverages Office 365 components and applications such as Delve or Planner and so on. And it takes advantage of and adapts to future Office 365 changes. It's also part of a best practice structure, which we'll talk about in just a minute, so that it can become a collaborative hub for external partners, but there's also a consistent design across all groups. So every portal doesn't look different completely from the other portals. And the nice thing about it is it's responsive design and it's branding, so you can access it anywhere, anytime, on any device. And it's very easy to deploy, often within 48 hours. Use, and if you have users that are used to Office 365 or even your partners that are using Office 365, it's going to look like the rest of Office 365. So it's more intuitive and very cost effective. You can actually get this for anywhere between probably $5,000 and $10,000, depending on what you're looking for as a solution out the door. Now let's talk a little bit about the design of SP Extranet. Now we've done a lot of these around the world, as I mentioned, and one of the things we found is what works and what doesn't work. One of the things we find that a lot of organizations like is to present kind of a external partner homepage. Now, This isn't specific to any one group, but it's a place they can see organizational news. You might have a blog out there. You can see events going on in the organization and so on. So it's kind of like what an intranet page is for your employees. This is the same thing for your external partners out there. And then under this, you can have different sites and portals. We do this through templates. So there's a board and committees template, which are built for around groups having meetings and having packets and needing to share resources and tracking different meetings and attendees and making it easy for the administrator to manage and set up these types of meetings, as well as the groups to come in and collaborate between them while having a totally secure environment that they know that other groups are not going to be able to get in and get information. There's also ones that we've set up for commissions, which are larger groups. And typically, again, there's meetings, but there's a little more in the way of documents and links and sharing resources and discussion groups. Both have discussion groups in them. Then there's other groups like distributors, partner portals like we have one ourselves. And this is where our partners go to get collateral, get the latest training and sales training, see different product announcements. They submit accounts that they want to reserve, and they can actually even submit orders and so on. So different types of groups are going to have different portals here, and we have templates for those, or you can create your own templates. And then finally, there's something like volunteers. This is really for your extended workforce type of partners. And these people may be on projects. So you may need to share project schedules and project tasks with them. They may need to submit different forms and so on. And across all of these also is what's called a partner service request system. It's a help desk that each of these partner portals can submit help desk requests to, so that you can then route them to appropriate people in your organization to help them and not have to have emails flying back and forth trying to find out, hey, I asked for help on this account. If I'm a distributor, I didn't get any response back. It's a full service request system. We've packaged this design into a set of modules that you can buy. And this is called SP Extranet. It is a top-level homepage, like in the design, and then a number of templates that you can get that will plug into this. So committees and boards, volunteers, partners, members, and there's also a group template that if these don't fit, you can create any type of group template that you want. And it has all the basic things for a external partner group. This is all built on Office 365 and SharePoint out of the box. And we even have underneath the covers what we call our power user tools. These are tools that go beyond basic SharePoint and allow you to do specialized forms or set up notifications without having to use workflow, set up actions, again, without using workflow based on conditions and filling out a form. It's got data import capability, so you can bring in information from other systems and even generate or pull data from Word, Excel, and other Office products. So SP Extranet is our offering for the buy scenario here. And the nice thing is it's 100% customizable. So it will get you anywhere from 70% to even 100% of what you need out of the box. So let's take a moment and take a look at what this looks like. And whether you are interested in our product or not, it'll at least give you some ideas for what an extranet can be like and what it can do for your relationships and productivity with your external partners. So our scenario organization is Habitat for Children. It's basically a playground building nonprofit for building playgrounds in rural or urban areas where people aren't going to get the type of playgrounds that normally you'd see in suburbs and so on. So Habitat for Children Extranet has a main page. Okay, if you remember, there's a top page. So if I come in as an external partner and I want to see what's going on in the organization, I have access to blog articles here. I've also I can see announcements, current events, even my service requests that I've put in I can also see news here as well. I can access different things. I can get a new service request. I can see members across all groups if that's made available to me. I can see calendars of different groups and when they're having meetings, such as committees or boards or that type of thing. And there's a number of links that you can set up here. You can see that we have a slider, for instance, and we've got, the logo of the organization as well. Now, from the top site here, I can then go in to perhaps the site that I'm a part of the group, and I only see those groups that I'm part of that. Now, in this scenario, I'm actually an administrator, so I see some drop downs here that only administrators would see, like manage the site here and service requests and so on, and even creating a group portal automatically and so on. So if I were an actual user, I'd only see home, sites, and resources. Resources is where I can see the different calendars, different organization documents, member directory, and so on. Again, this is across the entire organization, so I might have multiple committees and volunteers or something come into this page as kind of the central organization page for external partners. Now, if I want to go to my site here, I'm part of the board of directors. I can go right into the board of directors site just by clicking here. I can also go directly into it by just going to that URL. Now, the board of directors site is where I spend most of my time. I can go on, I can, for instance, see that we have a board meeting the 29th of July here, and if I click on this, I can actually see information about the board meeting and even access the board packet for that meeting. So here we see the board meeting. Now I can access on my tablet, on my computer, anywhere that I can access a responsive web page. So here we see meeting information. I can also, nobody put in the location because we have it at the same place every time, but there could be a location. We could even get a map to that location. Meeting documents. These are the meeting documents that have been put in that we need to review. There might be minutes, there might be something that we have to review. I could go in and open these documents right from here, and it would open it up in Word or PDF or however they're put in. I can also discuss things. There's a news feed where I can actually go in and start discussions, announcements, and actually documents. So if I wanted to go in and see some policy and procedure documents, all I'd have to do is click on this and it would open up that folder and I can get at those as well. I can actually search for documents here. I can put in a service request. So if I was the chairman of the board or something like that, I could put in a request right here and ask for somebody to perhaps set up a new meeting day or a special meeting day or reserve a room, or even I could ask for some research that would be done related to this. So I fill this out and it actually creates a service request that goes to the administrator for that. I can look at a members directory here and at any time open that up, contact members. It could be my board or it could be other, financial planning committee and so on. And again, just by hovering over these things, I can contact them by email, or if I have Skype for Business, by hovering over them, I can actually contact them through that as well. And in fact, we could even have the meeting online if that was our preference too. And again, I can look at them by different groups as well. So if I wanted to see the financial planning group, that I could select and see anybody from that. And again, I can search for people and so on. Other resources, I can look at other documents. So I can go to the resource tab here. I could see useful links. Perhaps there are links out to Habitat for Humanity or other information. And this could be a list of links of things that would be relevant to this group too. I could go in also and see different things as well, such as documents on different libraries, discussions, and so on. So it's actually built for this group to not only collaborate and track meetings and track documents, but it's also for the administrator to be able to administrate service requests, manage the documents, even create tasks and assign tasks to members of the group here. So this is an example of a committee and board site. Okay, up at the top site here again, let's just take a look at another site. Here's the design committee group site. And again, because I'm the administrator, I can go look at these different things. But again, they can have meetings and everything. You can see it very much looks the same because it's the same basic template. An example of another site here is a volunteers portal. Now this one's going to be a little bit different because what we're really tracking here is schedules and projects. And so if we go down here, we can see here's the project calendar, and that looks like it's not filled out here, but if I go back to June, I think we'll see some assignments and so on. You can see in the documents we have volunteer forms that can be filled out and submitted with a service request and attached to it. We also have policies and guidelines and resources here as well. And again, we can add anything we want. We could even look at a schedule for vacations and stuff like that for volunteers too. Finally, we'll take a look at a business partners portal. This happens to be our real live partners portal at SP Marketplace here. And so our partners can come in here, they can see news and events as well. We have a resource center. This happens to be where they can get information that they need to sell our products. So different marketing resources such as screenshots and white papers. They can access our webinars or product videos. We have partner training links here that links out to media and so on, even link to white papers and our blog articles as well. From the front page, they can also go in and submit a service request or register an account that they're going to be selling or access our price list too. They can even put in a support case or reach our customer portal too. So again, this is a business partner page for people that are actually reselling our products or referring our products. But this is an example too of an extranet site. So thanks for taking a look at the demo. So overall, the benefits of putting in an extranet are many. First of all, it will substantially drive up your partner success rates. In other words, being able to have your partners produce the things and do the things that you need. You're going to reduce overall support costs to support that partner because they're able to do many things themselves. It empowers them with self-service. Second, you're going to have a lot better communication and collaboration with your partners, and thus a better relationship because you have that single portal that they can get news and information and share and collaborate through, and a central place that you can put new collateral, new policies, new forms right there for them rather than having to send it out in email. Overall, your partner satisfaction and productivity is going to increase substantially because of that self-service and a consistency of procedures and that central help desk, the ability to put in partner service requests and have them immediately addressed and get to the right people. And overall, your organization will be able to add new partner models and have the flexibility to change the portals, to change the models, and even integrate with legacy systems. To learn more about SP Extranet and other solutions that we provide on top of Office 365, please visit us at spmarketplace.com. And at this point, I'll open it up for questions.